CDS Studios here. We are going to revisit As Soon As You Go. And we're going to revisit it with my seamers, with my leftover Afghan. What I did, I haven't worked on it in a long time, and what I did when I last worked on it, I set up this card and hooked it to the first square so I'd know where the bottom was. And what I wrote on it, so I wrote what it was, scrap Afghan, what key plate I used, key plate 2, and how many stitches each panel was, which is 30 stitches. That way I know which one, where the beginning was, and which end I have to hook on. So, and that will be So what you're going to do, you're going to locate your first row, the first stitch, and put your transfer tool into it. Now some take the whole stitch, which at this point I'm only taking the first one. Okay, now you want to put your stitches your needles into work position. You have to bear with me a little bit. I'm just gonna be showing you this end. So if you'll give me a minute while I knit the row. You want to put your weights on, and I like using this type of cast on comb, because as you stitch it you have to move it up, and I move it up about every 20 rows or so. At this point row counter is not totally necessary, because you only can add on as many stitches as you have. So I bring my carriage over into the proper position, and now I'm not going to be moving the camera to follow the carriage, so because it's this end that's the important end. And that loop, put it behind the latch. Make sure all your latches have stayed open, and carefully. Alright. Okay, I've cast on my first row. I've hung my first stitch. And now I'm going to knit my first row. And the stitch I hung was the very first stitch on my panel. And I'm just using scrap yarn. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, add a weight on this last stitch, because it for some reason doesn't like stitching this morning. Now what I'm doing, I've got my work wrong side facing me, and now let me see if I can get you coming in. I'm not zooming, I'm just bringing the camera, so it's going to be a little bit rough. Okay, now I'm picking up the whole outside stitch. Can you see that? That is the whole stitch. And I'm just putting the whole stitch onto the machine again. And then I will knit 2 rows. there's two types of stitches, which on this yarn is hard to see. So I'm gonna, okay. See this stitch? That's the stitch you want when you knit on the other side, you know, when you take it off. Not the purl bump, not the bump for the purl. It's the long part of the stitch. It's like the side of the stitch where this bump here makes this piece right here. It is this piece, this whole stitch that you want to pick up. That whole stitch. Now, some people, when they're first starting out, they'll take a bobby pin and either put it in here if they're only going to pick up one stitch, or here if they're going to pick up the whole stitch. It just gives it an easier way of finding it. But you have to do that to every time the carriage gets to the right hand side or left, depending on which side you're picking it up. So I'm going to go back over here, pick up another stitch. Like I said, I'm picking up the whole stitch. And just keep doing that. See, there's my bump, and there's my stitch. I have used this, it's called Seam As You Go, and I have used this when I was putting together a raglan sweater. I just went ahead and put it together while I was knitting it. You may have to turn the work towards you a little bit so you can see the stitch. Okay. Now we'll just do this until I run out of rows. Knit two. Rehang a stitch. Two, okay. The first stitch did not stitch. So I'm just going to undo those rows. There's nothing we do that cannot be repaired. Just take the row out. And restitch it. Because remember I told you it turned around? There's the one stitch. And then when you come back, that's the row you're going to be picking up. That's going to drop off. Okay, now when you drop a stitch, it's usually because you didn't move your end weights up. There we go. rows. Sometimes you may have to manually knit that last stitch. And rehang. I'm hanging the whole stitch. But you can just hang one, depends on what effect you want. I would recommend doing both on a sample to see which one you like. Okay, and that's all there is to seam as you go.